too long ago.
Hello, welcome to another wonderful special edition of the Mack Brothers podcast. I am Matthew, that's John, and we are very happy after something special that happened last night. Sixers won Game 5.
That's not what I want to talk about.
Very exciting
Drinking
news.
and Work.
John, there's something else going on?
Drinking and Work is out now. It is the party anthem that you've all been waiting for. It's the modern age drinking and work. I mean, it's the modern age cigarettes and alcohol. It's the modern age fight for your right to party. Matthew, it's the modern age we're not going to take it.
John, you know what else I think it is? I think it's a song
It's the
that
modern age.
that folks can go listen to. They could use their cell phones. They can use their cars. They can use their computers. There's lots of avenues they could find that have the song playing on them. And there's a lot of figurative avenues they could use to listen to the song as well.
Drinking and Work.
Go listen to Drinkin In Work. I really feel like it's like our Rolling Stones song. Like our fun, like if we were gonna write a fun country Rolling Stones song, you know what I mean? And they have a lot of twang in them, you know?
Yeah.
When you think about it, there's lots of bands that have twang in them, and you just don't think about it. The Kings of Leon, I mean, they have some songs that are country songs.
Tomas Petty.
Tomas Petty, yeah. You too. Their biggest stuff was all of them just trying to beat Cowboys.
Yeah, I've said this before. We're the best country band since the Rolling Stones in the 70s.
And we're from South Philly anyway, so we're Southern also, which is perfect.
From the South.
And yeah, so we're really excited. Yeah.
So to your earlier point,
that's the most important. That's the most important thing. I wanted to see if I could throw John off the trail. Sometimes I want to see, like, is John paying attention? John's paying attention. John's with it.
I'm with it. What was I going to say?
John, you know, you texted last night. I want to give a special shout out to Daniel House Jr.
Daniel
Daniel
House. That's the true
Oh,
pronunciation.
okay. I don't doubt you. I mean, great game last night. We played hard the whole game. We played how we can play, and we need to act like tomorrow night is Game 7.
Yep.
We can't play conservative whatsoever. We have to play aggressive and desperate.
I mean, Tyrese Maxey, unbelievable. Great James Harden game, even though he didn't score 45 again, but we don't need him to do that when he's setting up our teammates and he's making the right decisions. Incredible Embiid game with a block that will literally define his legacy. When they show highlights, that's going to be one of the main things. Just an unbelievable all-around performance. He's the MVP. He's the best player in the league. He's also he's probably the best all-around athlete in Philadelphia in our lifetimes.
Can't think anyone better.
No, it really isn't, and it's hard to say who's close.
You know, as far as athlete, there have been Philly people who are, I would say, maybe the only person who's up there. In my lifetime, my whole lifetime, as far as Philadelphia athletes, who's honestly might be up there? Ryan Howard.
Yeah, but all around, he was a liability.
Oh, you mean like as a physical player?
No.
As
all around greatness. They're good at everything. Ryan Howard could only hit for power. He never had an incredible.
Yeah, I just mean he was probably the best player in the MLB for 6 years, and he's a Hall of Famer, and he won a championship, and he won 2 MVPs, and he has a lot of home run titles. I'm
Yeah,
just like
I
Philly
don't.
athlete. He's a great Philly athlete, and he deserves credit. That's all.
Bryce Harper, right now is he won an MVP with us. He like brought us to the World Series last year.
I'm
But
just like, how much do championships matter? You know,
baseball is like well, I think they matter a whole lot. But Philadelphia, besides 2017, you look at that team. That was like the Eagles. That was like a
yeah.
unbelievable team win. Obviously, Nick Foles was unbelievable and he outplayed Tom Brady. But
Jason Peters, got to give him a shout out.
that was a Brandon Graham with the fumble. Uh, I mean the whole thing. That was such a team win. You can't really look at, even though Nick Foles, like I said, was great. You can't look at no one was like a superstar on that team. When it
I'm
comes
not
to
saying anyone's a better athlete than
individual,
him.
when it comes to individual, it's to me, I can't think of anybody that's even close on both ends. That is just phenomenal. I mean, football is different too because they don't play defense or offense, like they play one or the other. But I mean,
Oh yeah,
he is just
I'm just
unbelievable.
saying you could make arguments for others. Not
He's
that they're better. I'm just saying greatest Philly athletes in my lifetime. You have to include anyone from the Phillies and anyone from that Eagles team just because they won championships. Like Utley's up there.
Jimmy Rollins.
Not on Embiid's level. I'm not saying, that
Jimmy
he's on
Rollins
Embiid's
won an
level.
MVP.
He did. He was a great player.
He,
Hall
he
of
was he
Famers.
was awesome.
Who's probably the best Philly athlete in my
Real
lifetime
quick,
at their position?
real quick, before you say that, Jimmy Rollins might be more comparable. Jimmy Rollins was like a
Gold
golden
glove.
shortstop, one of the toughest positions to play, and he won an MVP. He was a great leadoff hitter. Did he lead off? I think he did.
Leadership.
No, he didn't lead off. He didn't lead off. I don't think he led off when Victorino led off, but he was great all around.
He was the locker room leader for sure.
And that, yeah.
For sure. There's a lot to account for. I think that makes somebody great. Like, I don't think anyone like a good argument is like Dirk Nowitzki is a greater player than Kevin Durant as far as his intent, like his leadership. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's other factors, but then you look at a guy like Kevin Durant and go, but he's a way better player. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like it's so hard to quantify. I'm just giving, I guess, more honorable mentions. Embiid might be the most impressive Philly athlete of my lifetime for sure. As far as when you're watching him play, you're like, this guy's very impressive to watch. I think the best Philly person at their position, like doing what they do, not the most maybe impressive, but I think maybe Jason Peters may be the greatest. He might be the greatest left tackle ever. Like there was like seasons he didn't even give up a pressure.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm not saying he's a better athlete than
though?
Embiid, but I'm saying like at his position, like what an impressive fucking guy he was.
He should have retired. Like, I think he's still playing. I don't know if he retired officially yet. He played for the Cowboys last year. His problem is he kind of pulled like a. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of the comparison. He should have retired and he didn't. And the Eagles re-signed him to it was like a mess. He was kind of a dickhead about his contract and stuff like that. And then we played him out of position and he wasn't good. So yes, in his prime, he's one of the best offensive linemen ever, but he definitely left on a sour note. Jason Kelce is my favorite Eagle right now.
Jason Kelce, yeah, that's a great pick.
Dawkins is also up there for me.
I think my thing is it's hard to put anybody above anybody when they don't have a championship yet. And it's like Embiid would be like the greatest Sixer who never won a title, you know?
Hopefully he changes that this year because
yeah, I'm saying if he didn't.
Tomorrow, I don't know how I'm going to survive.
Look at Iverson. You know what I mean? He played during our
Yeah.
lifetime, but
Well, that
was he
if
nearly as
if he
impressive as Embiid?
if he did that a couple different, if he brought the Sixers to a championship one extra time, like he would be up there. But after that miracle run, he kind of every year got worse and worse, and then he was kind of a issue. He Jason Peters kind of pulled an Iverson because Iverson refused to kind of be like a role player. He just wanted to be a starter and he just didn't have it anymore, especially when he went to like the Nuggets and um Detroit. He was terrible in Detroit. And then I think he went back to the Sixers and he was really bad. He played like 10 games. I think he got injured or something happened. It was a mess.
None of them are greater than Tim Duncan, though. Ain't that a shame?
No.
Ain't that a shame? Saying it to well, I guess they need something down there.
Yeah. They don't
You
got
know what I
nothing.
mean?
Um,
I think he's my favorite, my most underrated athlete of all time.
oh
My
yeah,
pick.
he's unbelievable. He was
I
so much
mean, he's
fun.
so good. He never had a season under 50 wins. Can anybody say that? Can anyone say they played 20 years in any league and they had that high of a winning percentage? It's there. I mean, it's like an almost impossible, like Tom Brady, maybe.
Yeah.
Super underrated. Super, super underrated.
Um, so I have been watching a bunch of animes, new animes.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I didn't finish Revenger yet.
So Revenger's one of them. Uh, Demon Slayer. I don't. Are you watching that?
I've been told to watch Demon Slayer, but I haven't watched Demon Slayer.
So that's good. Now I haven't watched it. I think the last episode was in like 22, and the new season didn't start yet. And I'm not reading the manga. But Demon Slayer's um, kind of like a Naruto esque. Like it's not kid
Shonen.
friendly. There's a lot of like violence.
Yeah,
It's kid friendly. You know what I mean? But it's not bad.
it's
Jude
hard to find good animes.
Jude
Dude,
Jujutsu Kaisen.
oh God, don't act like you can't read that. You've been,
Jujutsu
you've been, you've
is it
been.
is it jujitsu or is it a different word?
I think it's Jujutsu Kaisen.
Well,
Great show, great show.
that's
Eat,
great, and that's not for
eat the
children.
fingers, eat the fingers.
Yeah, that is not for children.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen's awesome. It's borderline a horror anime. They're airing
Fucking
the
great.
ending of Attack on Titan. You see like the final. It's like there's two more parts. They put part one up like last month. It was horrifying. It was a terrifying anime. Like that's definitely not for
Really?
kids.
That's it.
Yeah,
Like
it's
doing two.
fucking
The two
terrifying. It's like
final things are going to be movies.
yeah, it was like 90-minute long,
Oh, I'm watching that like literally
perfectly animated,
tomorrow. I don't know.
absolutely
I don't know when I'm
terrifying.
watching that, but I'm watching it.
Like the end of the world. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
And then I binge watched a anime called The World's. Hold on, I got to get the title for this because it's not. I abbreviated it. The title's fucking like a Fall Out Boy album like length. The world's fuck. What the fuck? Strongest. There it is. Hold on, ready? The reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world.
Okay, is it good?
I like it. It's a little. It's a little. It's very good, and it surprises you, and it's like a mix. It's a weird mix of One Punch Man,
Okay.
Fairy Tale,
Okay.
and um Yeah, I would say One Punch Man inferior. 'Cause it's not a like the guy is he's so fucking strong. It's fun to watch because it's just the kid in the show is really cool, and you want to kind of know more about his powers and stuff like that. But then there's like goofy anime shit that gets a real annoying real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But that's a small part of the overarching story.
you know it's
I guess I'm not spoiling it. So the world's strongest exorcist, he doesn't get overpowered, but he gets trapped and killed, and he does a spell right before he dies to reincarnate himself in a different dimension, a different world. And he gets raised by this wealthy family as like an orphan child, but he has all his memories, and just he's he's as strong he's the strongest person on the planet already at like 7. And then like the story kind of picks up at his teenage years and like what he's doing. But then there's a big twist, and it's like it's really good. I think you should watch it. It's more enjoyable than Revenger, because Revenger is just like a dark, seedy fucking anime.
Are you caught up on any One Piece?
I think I'm caught up. I didn't read the 10, what is it, 1023 or whatever, or 1083.
1083 came out today.
Oh yeah,
Just
see,
came out. Um, I think One Piece is like the greatest anime shonen ever. I definitely rank it above Dragon Ball, all things Dragon Ball. Now, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. It's above Bleach. It's above all the shonens. I don't know story wise if it's necessarily better than what are some of the other things it's better than. Um, but I put the One Piece current story, how it's evolving, I put it up there with any great stories that were ever told in human form. I
Jesus Christ.
100%. It's not even a the world building. It might be the greatest world building in any story. The world building is definitely more impressive than like a Lord of the Rings. Just as impressive as something like Game of Thrones, if not more impressive because of the consistency at which it's been done, continuously written every single week for over 20 years. It's insane. It can't, John, you know what, John, you know how long One Piece has been airing? One Piece has been airing so long. I was 2 when it started airing. The anime started airing.
Wow.
I may not have been born when it was like when it was started in circulation, and it's still going. Like the Frieza saga didn't even air yet on TV.
So I'm really enjoying it. I've always enjoyed it. But I think for me, the problem is that I don't think we got enough. I mean, 1,082 chapters have come out, and I don't.
Yeah.
And I didn't start reading it until recently because I wanted to watch from the anime on from where where it left off, and then that I just kept
Mhm.
reading it. But from the anime specifically, and I don't know about the manga, but from the anime, I don't think we got enough about the biggest characters that aren't in the One Piece crew. The Straw Hat crew. Like I wish I knew more about Shanks, and it's probably coming, but you just don't know too much about him. I don't know too much about Blackbeard. I barely even know what the fuck he could do. Um,
But I think that's why it's cool. I mean, that's why I want to keep
but
watching and reading it.
like I wish we got more information on the world government. I wish we got more information on like there were so many things that I was uninterested in that would skip that to find the interesting stuff, and then I would lose context. But that's because I was just bored.
Yeah, I think the biggest criticism of it is it takes too long. I
Yeah.
think the problem, I think that the counter argument for that is, some of the things that seem boring, which I skip. I don't watch. It still is an anime. There's a lot of fucking BS to it. They needed to put out Dragon Ball Kai because there's a lot of BS that happens in anime for stretching because they're
Yeah.
trying to pace it for the manga. Blah blah blah.
Politics.
I mean, I'm talking about the manga portion of the story where it's at now. There's a lot of story. That's the downside. It's also kind of like Game of Thrones. Like, does there really need to be a description of what the person's armor looked like? You know what I mean? That's not really for everyone. People sometimes just want to care who is the person and what are they doing.
Yeah.
Which certain things can be. I think that's kind of opinion. But when you watch other animes and you watch other shonen things, every single panel in One Piece matters now. And you're literally holding on to every single word, whereas I could absolutely care less about what's going on in Super. If you actually look at it as a story that's going on for a long time, it's a logical story that makes sense.
Yeah.
Loose ends that have been introduced have been tied up. There's still loose ends, but the story's still going. When you look at other stories that are shonen in an anime, they're absolute fucking shit shows. And you find things out faster, which is good, yes. But you also run into the problem where the stories just suck and don't make any sense. Dragon Ball hasn't been interesting since Cell. None of it's mattered. People die and come back to life all the time. You watch it for nostalgia because it's cool to see what forms Goku going to get next. You watch it just to see what's the new forms that are going to come out. Are the fights fun? You know what I mean? It's cool. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's not, but I'm not watching it for the story. I don't really like.
I might be in the I liked all of Z. I liked all of Dragon Ball and I liked all of Z.
I liked it. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just I'm comparing. It's the story there is far inferior.
Yeah, without a doubt. No,
I don't think Akira
think
Toriyama's had something interesting to say in a long time. I think he's
Super
burnt
is
out.
lacking so much depth, and they're trying now with the most recent stuff. They're trying to make it different, where Goku and Vegeta aren't even really in the story, so they're basing it off of Dr. Jiro's grandson is now was broken out of jail by the Red Ribbon Army, and they are giving him kind of the keys to the castle to create androids that were stronger than Cell to kill Goku and Vegeta. So but Trunks and Goten and Krillin, who's now a cop, just a cop, are trying to stop him before it gets to the next level, which is kind of interesting because but it's really not, because it's the same fucking. It's just a lot of it's like Trunks has a crush on somebody, and it's like, I don't give a fuck about this. I want to see progress the story quicker. It just doesn't make any sense why we have to fucking act like we care about the growth of Trunks when we already know future Trunks from a way more interesting timeline. As this doesn't have to be a whole story. It could just be a side one page. But anyway,
I think
wait.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
So this is why the stuff that One Punch Man, I don't read the manga. I'm not talking about mangas right now. One Punch Man, Attack on Titan, even though Attack on Titan's a little longer than what I'm getting at, but Revenger, which I fucking love. The other shows I just mentioned, World's Strongest Exorcist, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen. These shows are
That show's great.
Episodes. They're 13 episodes or 24 or whatever Attack on Titan is, and then that's the season finale, and then there's time, and then it's like a real fucking episode. It's not every week. It's every week for the manga, I guess, but these shows, they condense it to 13 episodes for a season, and then that's it until the next season. and it makes the show so much better. These shows have all the fucking shit that you need, just condensed the way it actually should be. And it's just better. It's just more, it's just funner to watch. If One Piece was 24 episodes a season instead of continual episodes that followed a manga, it'd probably be the best of all time. But there's so much filler that I don't care about.
I just think I don't really view it that way anymore. I think like if you view it that way, then you're just angry at the model that is shonen, and shonen is a whole different thing than what those other ones portray. They like One Piece has a different deal, a different TV deal than the other ones. As far as anime goes, I'm just talking about pure story. I'm not talking about execution. I'm not. What I'm talking about is when you like if I read a chapter of One Piece or I watch an episode of One Piece, what's going on the screen? What does it mean to me compared to what's going on in another show? And One Piece is almost incomparable because it's what shonen's really supposed to be. It's the highest possible execution of that genre of show and story, which really, came from Dragon Ball, the continuous format, the continuous episodes, the fillers, the all that type of stuff. The biggest shonen in the world right now, besides One Piece, is My Hero Academia, which is huge right now, which I think is inferior in lots of ways because the scaling's all off. In fact, the problem with all these shows is the scaling's off. You know what I mean? Like when Goku was fighting Frieza, 20 years ago, if he got angry, he could destroy the planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's like if he gets mad, like him and the God of Destruction, Beerus, are fighting, and the universe is ready to explode. You know what I mean? But then he goes and they fight in other places, and they don't represent the power correctly. It's like so inconsistent. Yeah. So I watch that and I go, well, this insults my intelligence. I don't really care. Like it's cute. It's cute to see Ultra Instinct, and it's cute to see certain things. And then you go Attack on Titan. The story is so fucking convoluted. It's even more convoluted than One Piece, which has been going on for 30 years.
Yeah.
It's so hard to like, well, what's going on with these people? What is this group's motivation? And what's this group's motivation? It's insane. One Piece has this thing, this mysticism, this cult thing about it because it's like 20 animes in one. Every arc is like a different thing, and early One Piece is completely different to later One Piece. And pre-time skip One Piece is completely different to post-time skip One Piece. But everything that happened matters, which is insane for something that's been going on for 25 years. I think the execution of it, the commitment from Oda, he's definitely the greatest manga writer ever. For him to do what he's doing, it's probably Akira Toriyama and him are tied for what he's been able to accomplish. And I think it's one of those things where the side characters in One Piece are more interesting than the main characters of almost all of the animes that you've said. Like Shanks' backstory is so much more interesting than probably 90% of the characters in the animes you mentioned.
I don't know Shanks' backstory though.
I know you don't, but what I'm saying is it's going to be more interesting. It's like the way they set this up. Well, you wouldn't need to, because where we were at in the story, why would we need to know Shanks' backstory? No one can get close to him. The portrayal of his power and his stature in the show dictates us not needing to know his backstory logically yet. I just think when you think about it from that point of view, it makes more sense.
I agree that him being a mystery is really cool. Luffy, not knowing who Luffy's father is really cool.
We know who Luffy's father is.
The extent of who he's the leader of the whatever, but he how he got there, who he actually is, what his power level, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff we don't know, and it's kind of cool. But I mean, the final season's coming up, and there's so many things that I wish they already got to, and I like I said, I skipped a lot of the story because I was bored. So I don't know, some of the people they're bringing back just don't excite me because I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
because of how drawn out the story was. I like a condensed story to make it's easier to digest when when I'm watching it and I'm reading it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's fair. I just think that it's one of the greatest stories ever told. It's a true adventure, the
It
way
is a
another
true
story
adventure.
isn't.
It,
It's
it
what can be the greatest downside for someone can also be the greatest upside for someone else because there's nothing else that exists like this anywhere on the planet.
yeah.
It's the only thing that has the consistency in this manner in this way.
I don't know if you have you paid attention to the new Ed Sheeran album.
Minus, I
That's
have
great.
not.
No, I'm kidding. I haven't listened to
I have
it.
not, but he won his lawsuit against the bullshit ass lawsuit against him from Marvin Gaye. It's like if they're gonna fucking get money off of him for that, there's a million other songs and artists that should be sued tomorrow. Like Led Zeppelin's
Yeah.
whole first album, their whole career should be fucking just they should just like all four members of Led Zeppelin, their estates or whatever the fuck, because some of them aren't alive anymore, should just send out the money where it should be where it should go. Because all
Yeah.
they did was steal. They stole their whole first album.
Oasis would be in deep water.
Oh, they definitely would be. Listen, John, all I'm saying is that for those that know when it comes to stealing songs, stealing music, and the best songs are all stolen. It's just people don't know that they're stolen because the best that's the best execution.
What did Bono say? Every
I
poet
don't
is a
know.
thief.
I don't know. I don't know. He said One Piece is the greatest shonen of all time, and John doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. No, some of the side characters in One Piece are so who gives a fuck. Like the princess on fucking Alabasta.
I don't. But that's the thing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't care about half of his crew.
Oh, I don't. I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of do, but I also I don't really think they matter enough to care.
But they spend a lot of time with them, so they do matter, but just not to me.
See, to me though, like I watched the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen, and I've read ahead in the manga too, and there's a lot of shit in that story that I could care less about. Now, if you want to get into some of the best animes that are finished, you gotta watch Samurai Champloo. That's a bar none quality show across the board. You have to watch Cowboy Bebop. That's all. Those are basically like spiritual siblings. They're both kind of related. And Samurai Champloo has probably the best anime soundtrack ever by Nujables. Great dead producer. Go check his music out, which is now going viral again all over TikTok, which is cool to hear. Um, and then you got to do Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, not
That's
Full Metal
excellent.
Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood from start to finish
That's
is
really
a
great.
complete story. It has a great beginning, a great middle, and a great end. It has great characters. It has great themes. It has everything you could ever want in a general story. It's an adult story that's just animated.
Yep.
Um,
Don't drag.
and then you have Code Geass, which is, I think, a great example of a little bit sillier of an anime that I think the story is still tremendous. The political games that are played, the power struggle that unfolds in the story, and the ending that is kind of open ended if you pay attention to the ending. Probably the greatest ending of an anime ever, in my opinion. And it's an anime only anime. There's no manga to it. It was only made to be an anime, which I think is really cool. Um, those
I
are
gotta
my
say,
those are my four recommendations, and of course, everyone everywhere should go watch the first season of One Punch Man.
yeah,
It is
that's what I was
just,
gonna say.
it's just. I mean, come on, it's so good.
It's so good. The second season's great too.
Oh, it is. It totally is. It totally is. The
Everything
web comic is indefinitely on break right now, which is sad.
ain't, but isn't the third season coming out shortly? Like this
You
year?
know, a great example of, and this is more American. We're talking Japanese, which is anime and manga. Excuse me, as I have a heart attack on the podcast. Um, The Walking Dead is the best example of something that went on for a long time that the manga is well, not manga, but the comics are tremendous, tremendous. And then the show after season 7 just completely falls apart, completely. Like the viewership fell off a cliff.
You know what I would love to see an animated series of?
What?
Like a anime style, or even like a 90s Batman,
A
which is
young
also
Batman, yeah,
great.
the Batman.
Um, the Percy Jackson books.
That would be cool. You have to mention Avatar too. First one of
Avatar is
Avatar.
excellent. Yeah.
Those are, man. If there's a show that could really teach you lessons as an adult and a kid, it's that show.
Mhm.
The writing is just. That's what I always think. It's like great writing. That's why this writer strike. It's a great tie-in to maybe like something a little bit more important. The writer strike that's going on right now. Is hugely important because all these things that we're talking about are made by artists. Their art is with words. They write down words in a great order and it becomes a great story, and they deserve to be paid a living wage for it. They deserve health care. They deserve um, everything that a human should deserve and should get. Um, so go support them, even if you're just sharing, online that you support them. Um,
Don't forget, Matthew, after reading the dictionary, everything else is just a remix.
that's a great, yeah, did you write that? Is that your
No, I
line?
seen that as a meme.
But yeah, go support the writers, man. They're fighting for good stories and they're fighting to live. It's like the best I forget what award show it was, but it won like best series for comedy. And one of the writers on it had a negative bank account balance and they were like living with their grandparents or some shit.
The Bear,
The Bear, there you go. Yeah. Ain't that crazy?
which I never watched. That's a comedy? I didn't even know that was a comedy.
I think it's a comedy, yeah. But ain't that fucking nuts? You could be
Yeah.
on an award-winning like show team, and as an artist that's like, me and you do security. I'm like, what the fuck is out there for fucking people like us? Like, if you're a me and you're a writer, what does that tell you? Like, it doesn't make you want to go be a professional writer. It makes you just want to fucking show your
Yeah.
books to your friends. Like, that's crazy.
Mm,
The American dream is a dream because you have to be asleep
to believe it.
to believe it.
Mm. Carlin. We always have to
Yeah.
finish. We always have to say a Carlin line.
Well, most importantly, I think more important than anything we just said, the best thing you could do is you could go listen to our new song that we have out called "Drinkin In Work." By the time you're done, you're gonna feel how John just looked. Um,
Whacked.
Whacked. You're gonna be so excited. It's the drinking song of the whole season. It's the drinking song of the year.
Yeah.
It's probably a drinking song that honestly you should be listening to for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And another good drinking song came out by Billy Strings this year called California Sober.
Ooh, yeah.
Good song. Ours is better.
Ours is definitely a better party and
Our
drinking
guitar
song.
solos ain't as good.
Well,
But
they're not as technically proficient, but good is an
oh,
opinion.
you know what? Yeah, you know what? You're right, because that's subjective. Because you know what? There might be some more emotion in ours. There might be some more feeling. There's more grooves. Go listen to Drinking and Work. You
Listen
want
to Drinking and Work.
give us your
And
opinion.
real quick, shout out to something we like to drink, League Island Brewing Club. Thank you for
League Island
sponsoring the
Brewing Club.
podcast. Jesus' favorite beer. And if you're drinking and work, I know what you should be drinking. League Island Brewing Club.
If I'm going to drink and work, which I haven't done since the casino, it'll be League Island Brewing Club. You
I've
hear
actually
that?
never drank. I've actually never